All right, guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be covering the top 5 SMGs here in Modern Warfare 2 Season 4. Based on the immense amount of feedback I've received on my original top 5 weapons video, I decided I wanted to dumb down the list a bit, do top 5 SMGs, and do top 5 ARs. Keep in mind that these are my personal favorite setups, and yours could be completely different than mine. Please go down in the comments section and let me know exactly what your top 5 SMGs are. As always, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me to help this video reach other people looking for the same kind of content. Let's not put off any more time. Let's jump over into these setups. Now, we're going to be starting here at number 5, and that's going to be the MP7 or the Val 46. This is my personal favorite SMG in the game, but when you dumb down the statistics, it really comes down to it's not as good as other SMGs, but as a fast-paced player, this is my kind of dream weapon, just lacks the statistics maybe of the other SMGs. So let's get started here. We're going to start with a rear grip where you're going to want the Schlager Soldier. This is a fast player's dream, like I mentioned, and you're going to need a bunch of aggressive attributes. So the Schlager Soldier gives you sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed here. For your tuning, you're going to want it plus 0.81 towards your recoil steadiness and negative 0.45 towards your sprint to fire speed. For a magazine, this is one of those where I'm actually lowering the ammo count, because what this does is gives you a bunch of mobility and handling. You can see that large increase there, which is absolutely insane. It gives you more than basically every other attachment in the game in form of mobility and handling. So I'm going to call that a preference attachment for this build, but at the same time, you're going to be losing a lot of that mobility in the process. So we're going to heading over here to an underbarrel where I have the FSS Sharkfin 90. Think of this thing more as a placeholder. It gives you aiming idle stability, but what we're really using it for is that tuning. I'm going to have it plus 0.31 towards recoil stabilization and negative 0.13 towards your aim walking speed. For muzzle, you want the Spiral V3.5 flash hider. This is going to give you recoil steadiness, but the big thing here is we're not really sacrificing any aim down sight speed in return, but still getting recoil control. Tuning, we got negative 0.81 towards aim down sight speed and plus 0.28 towards the gun kick control. And the last attachment is going to be the Slogger L203 barrel, giving you damage range, hipfire accuracy, and bullet velocity. Like I said, the base statistics don't really line up with the other SMGs. It's still a very good option, but you need to be extremely aggressive with it. I wanted to increase the damage range here just to take a little more of a longer range fight with ease. Tuning for this attachment is going to be plus 0.37 towards recoil steadiness and negative 0.30 towards the aim down sight speed. Up next on our list, we're going to have the brand new ISO 45. This thing is a close range damage monster, but the biggest downside of it is going to be the damage range. You got a pretty sporadic recoil pattern, and on top of that, you just kind of drop off very quickly. Once you start leaving the close ranges, it becomes a hit marker machine. That being said, though, it's another aggressive player's dream, as the damage output is absolutely insane. I believe you can get a 2-shot headshot at certain ranges. So once again here, we're going to be starting with a rear grip, and that's going to be the A30 Stout, giving you base recoil control to help you in the further ranges. Just because it's a close range weapon doesn't mean you're not going to be in a situation where you have to take a medium range fight, and some recoil control is obviously just a positive there. Your tuning, you're going to want it plus 0.55 towards your recoil steadiness and negative 0.30 towards your sprint to fire speed. Heading all the way over here to an underbarrel, we have the Phase 3 grip. The Phase 3 grip is going to give you an immense amount of recoil stabilization, aka that side-to-side bounce while you're shooting. And the Phase 3 grip virtually takes away no aim down sight speed, especially after the tuning, but you'll see when you use the weapon, it shoots much easier now while running this. Tuning is going to be negative 0.65 towards aim down sight speed and negative 0.23 towards your aim walking speed. For the barrel, you want the 16-inch XLBS, giving you sound suppression, bullet velocity. Most importantly, we're gaining damage range and recoil control. Like I said, it drops off very drastically at range, so that increase in damage range is just going to help your cause. And then, of course, even more recoil control. Tuning is going to be negative 0.40 towards aim walking speed and negative 0.31 towards your aim down sight speed. Up next, we're going to have the 1 milliwatt quick fire laser. What this is going to do is give you aim down sight speed, but we have 0 cons to running this in return. For example, if you were to head over to a rear grip here and you were to go with the EXP shear, you can see we are sacrificing recoil control in turn for the aim down sight speed, whereas the laser sight does not do so. I get a lot of questions as to why I always run laser sights. You don't necessarily have to run this one in particular. You can go with the Artemis, giving you aiming stability, or you can also go with the ULO 66, giving you hip fires, recoil control, hip fire accuracy, and whatnot. But make sure you choose a laser that has 0 cons to running it. Negative 0.42 towards towards the sprint of fire speed, and negative 36.19 towards the aim down sight speed for the tuning. And for our last attachment, we have the Slimline Pro. Personally, I do not like the iron sights of the ISO Hemlock or the ISO 45. Now, this is a preference attachment, though. If you want to chuck on a bigger magazine or even a stock, feel free to do that in place of the optic. But like I said, the Slimline Pro is going to be my preference here. For the tuning, negative 1.55 towards your aim down sight speed and negative 2.25 towards far. Now, coming in at number 3, we're going to have the MP5, or aka the Lockman Sub. This weapon is much different than the other two I just covered because it actually is very good at range. You can take gunfights at ranges that you just wouldn't really consider viable with an SMG with this particular build. It has a much better damage range. It's also good at close range because it has a good fire rate and it has extremely low recoil, but at the same time, probably not the best weapon for extremely aggressive players, but maybe kind of in the middle between slow and fast, right in the middle there. So that being said, we're going to show off the recoil pattern, what I'm talking about right now. So we're going to be starting this build with a stock where I have the FT Mobile. What this is going to do is give you crouch movement speed and aim down sight speed to help the aggression of the weapon, but at the same time, we're also gaining aiming stability, which is going to be that side-to-side bounce while shooting with the weapon. So yes, you're taking away a bit of aggression in forms of sprint speed and aim walking speed, but it's nothing really to be too concerned about because this weapon is used much differently than weapons that are fast firing as like the MP7 or even the ISO 45. So by far the best stock option you can be using here to help with your aggression. Tuning is going to be negative 3.23 towards your aim down sight speed and negative 1.32 towards your aim walking speed. For a magazine, this is a preference attachment. I personally like to run the 40 round mag on this weapon, but it can be swapped out for an optic or rear grip, a muzzle, whatever you so please. Personally, I just run the 40 round mag there. We're heading over to an underbarrel. Once again, I have the phase 3 grip for the same reason I was running it on the ISO Hemlock, but the big difference here, this virtually gives you zero recoil whatsoever in the form of recoil stabilization. It virtually shoots a straight line as you saw in the firing range there. Super easy weapon to use when you run this underbarrel. It's going to be negative 0.39 towards your aim down sight speed, negative 0.34 towards your aim walking speed for that tuning. For the barrel, the most important attachment of this build is going to be the FTAC M Sub 12-inch, giving you bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control. All the things that I just said this weapon did better than the others, and that's why this barrel is so important. It's not necessarily focusing on movement, but it's focusing more on the damage range aspects of the weapon. Tuning is going to be negative 0.29 towards aim walking speed, and then I got negative 0.26 towards your aim down sight speed. And our last attachment is going to be a laser sight once again, where I have the quick fire for aim down sight speed. But again, if you want to run the Artemis for even more aiming stability, or even the ULO 66 for some hip fire type abilities there, you can do so. Tuning is going to be negative 0.15 towards sprint to fire speed and negative 34.55 towards your aim down sight speed. Now at number 2, we have the Boss P, and I'm sure a lot of people are surprised to see this in even my top 5. This weapon has received a massive amount of buffs over the last season. In season 3, right at the beginning, we got a damage range along with aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed buff. And then in season 3 Reloaded, they decided they wanted to up that sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed even further. So we got a good damage range now with great mobility aspects. So what we've done here is completely attacked the aggressiveness along with giving you little to no recoil, so you can take some farther fights if necessary. This weapon is not going to thrive at range, but at close range on small maps like Shipment, you got Bagger Fortress, you also got maps like Mercado, where there's a lot of close range engagements. You're going to have a ton of success. This weapon's an absolute monster now. So I'm going to start up here, be a little different. I'm running the Slimline Pro. I personally, just like the ISO, don't like the iron sights of this weapon, but it's a preference. If you want to chuck on a larger magazine size, maybe a laser sight, feel free to do so. You can take this attachment off. Tuning for this is going to be negative 0.87 towards aim down sight speed and negative 2.25 towards far. For the stock, I have the Bruin V4 Flash. What that's going to do is again help the aggression of the weapon by giving you sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed. Yes, it takes away some aiming stability and recoil control, but as you saw in the firing range, it's still very easy to use altogether. Tuning, we got negative 2.32 towards the aim down sight speed and negative 0.70 towards the aim walking speed. So for the rear grip, you want the Bruin Flash for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. As stated before, we're targeting all the aggressive attributes, and that's exactly what we're doing here by attacking the handling head on. Tuning is going to be plus 0.81 towards recoil steadiness and negative 0.33 towards the sprint to fire speed. Now we're heading over here to an underbarrel. Basically, what this is going to do is similar to like the phase 3 grip. It's going to give you recoil stabilization, but this takes away even less aim down sight speed. I don't find that the phase 3 grip is necessary on this weapon, and the FTAC Tiger does plenty enough of a good job. So holding its crown at number 1, we're going to have the Vaznev 9K. I'm sure not many people are really surprised by this. They haven't changed anything. They've done some small nerfs here and there to the damage range, but that's not where the weapon really thrived. It's just a monster for aggressive players, and it's a monster for SMG users altogether. There's really no reason to not have it at number 1. Super easy weapon to use, super fun choice of weaponry. So I'm going to be honest, my setup really hasn't changed other than one attachment here, which I'm going to start with, and that's the Markiv R7 stock. I believe before I was going with the Otrazat because I didn't want to sacrifice recoil control, but after using the Markiv R7, you get so much more aggressive abilities with this thing that the recoil doesn't matter. You're not taking long range fights with this weapon, and as you saw in the firing range, it's very easy to control altogether. So we're going to tune this one here, negative 2.19 towards aim down sight speed, negative 1.47 towards the aim walking speed. For the rear grip, the true tack sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed. Pretty self-explanatory attachment for an aggressive weapon. Tuning, we got plus 0.10 towards your recoil steadiness and negative 0.33 towards your sprint to fire speed. For the underbarrel, you want the FSS Shark Fin 90. Again, I've said this before, this attachment is more or less a placeholder, helps you with aiming, idle stability, but what it's really there for is going to be that tuning. I have a negative 0.26 towards aim down sight speed and negative 0.15 towards the aim walking speed. For the muzzle, the Spiral V3.5 flash hider for recoil steadiness, and again, we're not sacrificing really any aim down sight speed in return with this attachment, but we still get recoil control at the same time. Tuning, negative 0.65 towards aim down sight speed and plus 0.18 towards your gun kick control. Our last attachment is going to be the Schlager Packbox IV. I'm going to call this one an optional attachment for this build. If you want more bullets in the magazine, maybe you want to run an optic on it, this is the attachment to take off. But I like having that really snappy aim. So our tuning is going to be negative 0.23 towards sprint to fire speed and negative 21.39 towards your aim down sight speed. So once again, I want you guys to make sure you guys go down in the comment section and let me know what your top 5 SMGs are in this game. There are plenty to choose from, and honestly, none of them are really bad enough that I would think twice about putting them in my top 5. These are just my personal favorites. Again, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button for me. I'm really trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.